I heard she's able to do that because nobody's able to do it. Her secret is she farts when she's in the air, and it gives her an extra boost, and that's how she lands.
I think I read something about that too.
My favorite meme I saw recently was like Simone Biles at the top of her jump is exactly 183 copies of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
I saw that too.
That's good.
Hello and welcome to Grass Touchers, the show where the three of us guys talk about video games and how we don't get to play them very much, but it's fine and everything is fine. I am Jake.
I'm Jared.
I'm Greg.
It's been a good week. It's been a slow week. We almost struck out in terms of recording. I've been away, but here we are on a nice, relaxing Sunday afternoon. Jared, kick us off. What have we got?
I am Archon on DOTA now, which is the 4th rank from the bottom, which sounds like not very much, but keeping in mind that every rank has 5 ranks in it, I have gone from absolute 0 to that, and I'm pretty happy about it. And
so does that equate to like 20 sort of sub ranks that you've climbed up? Like where is that from the top, I wonder? Is there more ranks?
There are more ranks. There's I think there's a 5-star, and then it goes into like divine, immortal, and then it goes into like the super duper high ranks. So like I'm
looking at a chart right now.
Are you? Yeah. I am kind of like in the middle of the pack, if you can see that. Right? Is that
yeah,
what
so
seeing?
It looks like sort of tier 1 is Herald, and then Guardian, and then Crusader,
right,
and then Archon, and there are says like 5 stars or something to each of those.
Right.
And then from Archon you've got Legend and Ancient and Divine.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Divine is that. I think maybe
it says after that your medal will also display your leaderboard rank publicly. Like that's sort of where you like once you get to 7, it's sort of up from there with like a leaderboard number attached to it.
Right. So so I'm in Archon, and
cool, dude.
I want to see how far I can take it. What I want to see is how far I can take it before the game is like, stop, you're not good enough, go back.
Yeah, right.
Like I want to know, because as it stands, I mean, and keeping in mind, I'm not the most versatile right now. I play like one hero, and if he's banned, then I play another one. I have luckily not been in a match yet where they're both banned or picked.
So you've been making it with just those 2.
Yeah, which is fine.
Cool.
I mean, the game is reliant on look who's on the other team. How can you counterpick them? Like there is a ton of that, but I always play support, so that means I always pick first, because you want your more important choices to be picked later, so that there's less chances to counterpick them. So it's not that big of a deal. I'm picking first anyway, so there's really not a chance for me to counterpick anything. Right. But yeah, I'm enjoying that as always. I downloaded Arc.
No,
well, listen. There's a good answer.
No.
I downloaded Arc.
I can't.
And I started playing it, and I was like starting to gain some traction again. I'm pretty good at that game, to the point where like.
Oh, I have full faith and confidence you're good at the game.
Yeah.
But is the game good for you?
It's not good for me. That is for darn sure. There's certain mounts that you tame that like are just valuable to like be productive. Like I got the big bird that can pick up smaller things, so I was picking things up and dropping them in my taming pits and taming them and kind of building
your
up
taming pits. Oh goodness.
Yeah, dude, you don't know the half of it. And but I was generating like some traction, but the game is buggy and annoying, and I had a moment where I made a small mistake. the place that I was at was too cold and it was killing my guy, but I didn't notice it because there's no indicator when I'm riding my bird. And so I just died randomly around while I was trying to tame like a T-Rex, and my bird just landed. And then I forgot that it was on passive, because if they're not on passive, sometimes the birds will fly away chasing wild things while you're asleep at 3 a.m. And so I just lost my bird, and Gabby was like kind of laying on the bed, like watching something on her phone. And I go, hey, check this out. Look at this. Check this out. And I hit the Xbox button, go to the main menu, I hit uninstall. And I just like tossed the controller and rolled my eyes. I was like pissed off. I was like, I'm done with this game. So,
oh my gosh.
So that was a good moment. I texted my brother right afterwards. I was like, so I guess you just uninstalled Ark for the 5th time. Like, we should play, you and I should play something, because I'm done with this game again. And what I decided to pick up was the recently released to Game Pass title. It's a small game. It's from like it's like an indie company. They're called Infinity Ward. It's
it's really small. They're not very well known.
You've probably never heard of it. But yeah, it's called Modern Warfare 3. A game that historically I've been really jaded by ever since probably Modern Warfare. The original, actually, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, when that came out, it was a direct, I don't care what anybody says, it was a direct competitor to Halo 3, which was my game.
It was, for sure.
It was my game, and everybody bought Call of Duty 4. Like, it started out where it was like a huge thing where it was like, there's a new sheriff in town. And I was like, yeah, right, dude. Give me a break. It's not going to be better than Halo 3. And like slowly I lost people that I counted on to like be on my teams in Halo. Like that they'd be
all your Halo buddies.
Right. Back in the day when it was like, boop, boop, this guy's online. I'm like, nice. Me and this guy, we put it down every time. And we'd, hop in the party, hop in the lobby, let's go. And like I remember slowly watching them pop online, and I'd like go to invite them to my party, and they'd be on Call of Duty 4. I'm like, no way, no way! It's stealing the thunder.
Et tu, Brute.
Yeah.
Et tu, Dute.
Myself. You're breaking my heart over here, man. No, but I remember that game, and I remember my brother got it for Christmas. My dad bought it for my brother for Christmas, and I was like, this is sick. This is a dope game. This is cool. It's not better than Halo 3, but it is different, and it is fun in its own way. And
right, you're very carefully calculating your statement. Like, it's not better. It's just different and interesting.
And I stand by that. They're very different games.
Yeah.
I think at the time it was like, they're both first-person shooters, so they're the same experience. But
at that time, there was so much less nuance in the discourse, right?
Right.
Like, it was just like, this shooter's better. Everyone play it now. And then now you would say, the different mechanics are all sort of, it's almost a completely different genre. But
right.
I got you.
But yeah, so it's one that, and slowly since then I've like grown to hate them because, and I'm gonna actually Greg's sneezing on mute, dude. He's trying to get away with a sneeze behind our back. Let me be the first to say, bless you.
Thank you, man.
Sure. So I've realized why I hate these games historically, and I've come around, and I've got a take for you guys. Okay?
I'm so ready.
You can disagree, of course. You can feel free to jump in. But I've realized that Call of Duty games, they are Fast and the Furious. And this is probably a stale take. I'm sure somebody's already said this. But if you look at Fast and the Furious, there are people out there who are like, are you kidding me? These movies are so stupid. They're jumping a Ferrari over the Panama Canal into an airplane. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is shifting gears with his dinger. Are you kidding me? This is totally unrealistic. And it's like, I kind of used to be that guy.
Yeah.
But I recently rewatched those movies, and if you can just appreciate them as like outlandish, fun, explosive, stupid movies, then you can enjoy them, and they are almost valuable in that way. Maybe valuable is a little bit too far, but like,
it's a big ask.
Yeah,
right.
they're enjoyable, and I've come around because I think in my college years I was like, if this movie is not speaking to me on a human level, and there's not a good demonstration of like art and skill, then I think this is kind of stupid. I don't think this has value. And then you kind of come around when you were a kid and you're like, Jurassic Park was awesome. It's a stupid premise. And I've never read the book. R.I.P. to Michael Crichton. I don't mean to
I know. I've heard those are great. But it's a whole legacy.
Right. It's a stupid premise. It's not important. It doesn't add anything to anything, but it's fun. Right. And that's what movies really should be. And I think I'm realizing that that's what Call of Duty is. So I jumped into Modern Warfare 3. I jumped right into multiplayer deathmatch, and I have some progress from a time that I was playing Warzone. What's cool is that the game kind of serves as like a platform now, and it's a service. It's a service where they release a sequel, and it's like, this is it. We've added all of this content as part of the Modern Warfare 3 package, but like your progress with your like my MP7. I went to the MP7, and it's like I have all this stuff unlocked for it because I have already played with it on the other modes before. And I think that that's kind of cool because one issue that I have, especially with like iterative franchises, like for instance, like sports, like NBA 2K, is I would play like the My Team mode. I would kind of accumulate like wealth and pieces, and I would put together a team, and it would be fun. And then I would buy the game the next year, and everything was just completely a clean slate, and there's like nothing I did had any value, which is like it kind of takes away the incentive of doing it again, because I'm like, this is all just going to be gone next year when if I want to buy the one. So I appreciate that. It is extremely annoying to like be quick scoped, and
oh my gosh,
and you will be quick scoped. I've been freaking Doritos 360 code redded like 100 times.
Pro montage
by one of the characters from The Boys on Amazon. Freaking a Gundam running up and like 180 drop shot with a M1 Garand while I'm holding down the trigger with my fully automatic, very, very modern MP7, and he kills me, and it's like, okay, well, that's frustrating. But that is all to say that if you're at a point in your life where you have more responsibilities, you're touching too much grass to like be like a dungeon crawling min-maxer,
right?
It's fun to just get in and be like, I just shoot people, you die, and then you hit X and you're immediately back. And I used to hate that.
Yes, exactly.
But I kind of appreciate it.
That dopamine rush that you can only get for 30 minutes at a time anyway, because you need to feed your son when he wakes up from his nap. You know what I mean? Like there's a place for that, I think, in a lot of people's lives that are approximately our age, and so be it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I'm not above that, and I know that there's a game that I've had an off and on relationship, and it's the Battlefield franchise. I love when Battlefield was good, which was ages ago. And I feel that way. I can sit down and play one long sort of 1,000 ticket like match.
Right.
There's my 30 minutes of like, flying a helicopter and getting in a tank and shooting rockets and, sniping people and like kind of diagnosing what the enemy team is doing and how I can try to counter it. I use my brain a little bit more in Battlefield, I would argue, just the style I play. That doesn't mean everybody does. And, that rocks. I just sent in the chat a Reddit post from 9 years ago from Shower Thoughts, which was the Fast and Furious series is like the Call of Duty of movies.
Wow, okay.
It wasn't more nuanced than that. There wasn't further explanation. It was just like a shower thought.
That's sort of like the reverse of what I was thinking. But yeah, that's crazy.
Right. So the comparison is there. And then I saw in the related, after that Google search, I saw in some related results, Dwayne Johnson's cousin, who's a veteran Navy SEAL, is in like Call of Duty or something, or a trailer or something. And there was also like a teaser for a Call of Duty movie that Rock the Dwayne Johnson was like in. And so the bleed over is like insane. It's there.
It's ridiculous.
And so you're double right to make that comparison. But you're right. There's people that are like huge Fast and Furious apologists. Like they think that they are, like this is their favorite thing. The way that I like Star Wars. Some people like Fast and the Furious, which is like insane to me. But.
And the arc is the same too. If you look at it, it's like if you watch the original Fast and Furious, it was like car guys. It was like, we're like car guys, and it's very true to life and realistic and grounded. And that's the way Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was. It was like it was pretty tactical. Like the campaign was very cool. Like the ghillie suit,
especially the
mission.
campaign. That campaign showed some of the most for the time. Some of the most contemporary for the time kind of tactical situations that I think nobody had really been exposed to something that was interactive and tactical, tactical looking, by function or realism or
that felt real.
It wasn't real in the like Tarkov sense of real. It was just like visually depicting something that was much more contemporary and real in a sense.
And the craziest it got, the most outlandish it got was red camo, blue camo, tiger stripes, and gold camouflage. That was like as crazy as it gets. Now, I'm getting buzzsawed by Norbit. like a big bird from Sesame Street. Skin is
freaking
like
Dilbert's over here with an M249 squad assault weapon,
sliding at me and shooting me in the face with a Glock.
Oh my gosh, so frustrating.
It's fun though. It's a good time, and I think I need to appreciate games, video games especially. They need to be appreciated for what they are, which is breaching reality and like supposed to like take you on an adventure. I think it's pretty silly now, especially when I'm putting myself out there first to say that I'm the first to have done this, but to play that double standard and be like, this game isn't realistic at all. This why are there Rick and Morty skins in Rainbow Six Siege? It's like, and then I'll like hop over. And I'm playing Dota where I'm I main a thing iceberg that like floats around and it's like, there's no realism. There's nothing real about it. And I'm like, this game's awesome.
But you're like, that thing sucks.
Right, but this sucks because it has
Let me go back and play my floating iceberg that I'm gonna stack middle or whatever.
Mozzie pizza skin? Are you kidding me? And then I'm like,
okay, to be fair, the Mozzie pizza skin is the worst thing that's happened in video games.
It is
ever.
Horrible. Yeah, and Ubisoft
it is the 9/11 of video game innovations. Just to be clear.
Dang. Yeah.
Well, Jared, thanks for the extended take there. Let's go to our correspondent on the ground, Mr. Greg over there. How's it looking over there?
This is gonna be a quick.
What are you seeing out there?
This is gonna be a quick one. Guys, I've been touching grass this week, past couple weeks, and haven't played many video games, and that's fine. That's part of what we do, guys. We sometimes don't, and so I'm going to pass it along to Jake.
Well, hot dang. I kind of have the same story. Like I said, we're recording on a Sunday because I was gone all week last week, chaperoning the church youth camp trip. It was a wonderful experience. Hanging out with all those sweaty, smelly fart heads. We hiked, we did obstacle courses, we ate really pretty decent food over there, the place we went to. And I had some laughs and some good times with the group there. So that was really enjoyable, but it did not. I almost brought my Steam Deck. I was like, I'm gonna flex on these kids. I'm gonna sit in my bunk. I'm gonna sit in my bunk at night and play Steam Deck. But then I looked at our schedule and I was like, gosh, I'm going to be so blasted. I'm going to be burning more calories than usual, and I'm going to be sort of doing all the things.
You were going to be so hammered that you just,
Oh,
yeah. That's right. And so I was like, I probably shouldn't. I didn't bring it. But as soon as I got home, it was like, yay, my wife and kids, I missed you. Where's my Steam Deck? Anybody see is it charged? Is it? No. I played a little Rocket League last night, but before I left for the youth camp trip, I was still absolutely hooked on Ready or Not, and probably after we're done recording, I'd like to play it some more, because that game, you guys, I got to, since we last spoke, I finished the mission where I was taking down this like adult film producer's mansion where he was having a party, and like I got like an A+ on it. At the very last sort of segment of the mission, I hit this sweet shot where like I had gone into the basement where all the sort of paraphernalia and like bad stuff that we were trying to capture was. I collected all this evidence. I didn't hurt anybody that wasn't supposed to get hurt. I even arrested some of the perps and didn't have to kill them. And at the very end, after I got this sort of main character, it said that I had not, it doesn't tell you exactly how many bad guys there are, but it said like, you have not yet rescued all the civilians and you have not yet killed all the bad guys. And I was like, I've been pretty much everywhere. So I went out the back door of the basement and I heard through the wall this guy saying, I'm not going in easy. I've got too much to lose or something. There was some sort of NPC line. And I heard this lady like, scream. Mm-hmm. And I pictured in my head like, all right, there must be one more civilian and one more bad guy. That's what it sounds like I hear. And sure enough, I busted the door down. And this guy, it was like a movie, you guys. This bad guy had a lady in front of him as a human shield by the throat, and he had a gun, and it was like a straight-up hostage situation. And I took my short-barreled rifle, and I went, pop, pop,
wow.
Headshot. He's dead. She's safe. Mission accomplished. It was like,
Very cool.
I am a god. It was so heart-racing. And it's because it's so procedural, but like, truly different every time.
If this was a Steven Seagal movie, you would have had sex with the woman immediately after.
That's right, and listened to Middle Ages Asian music.
Girl, it's all right.
Well, when was that you and I played, Jake?
Ready or Not. That was
no. I'm saying when. I'm saying when was it? Was that a few?
Oh gosh, that was
a week and a half ago or so.
It was right after we recorded. We ran the gas station mission one time.
Yeah, like internet days ago, yeah.
Yep. So I have played a bunch of missions. I think I've been to the one that I was telling you guys about last. The next mission, after you get a passing score on one, it tells you at the next, when you get back to the hub world, it's like, hey, you've unlocked such and such mission. And they all have these like, code names and stuff. And I looked and trigger warning, it's a school shooting at a local community college in the fictitious town. And the briefing is like, hey guys, no time to lose. Here's the deal. Okay. Bomb threats, active shooters, more than one gunman. Everybody's freaking out. It's in the science wing and we're leaving right now. And it doesn't actually change anything about your preparation. It doesn't like, I thought it'd be cool if they like set a timer, like, okay, you have 5 minutes and then this mission is starting. But it's the normal thing. So I went in and I was like, okay, if I was rushing in at the last minute, I was LARPing my little off. And I was like, if I was LARPing, I'm going to go save the world from this horrible trash human that decided to do a school shoot. What would I have? And I put on like, they have a specific vest that I had just unlocked. That's like, it says in the details notes of that vest, like it is a good like bug out vest that is in the back of a lot of police officers' trucks. And I was like, that's the one. And so it's sort of a more bare bones like vest. And I put on like a button up and a pair of jeans and like friggin' Oakley's like thin blue line sticker, baby. Like this is it. Yeah. And I grabbed an SBR, no silencer. I want this asshole to know I'm coming, and I get a battering ram and all the flashbangs and all the stinger grenades. And it's like you can't move fast enough. That mission is very difficult and it's harrowing because the way they've structured the map, it looks like any other community college. Things aren't necessarily super well laid out. There's lecture halls that are big and open and scary and hard to sort of clear corners. There's hallways where there's people's just blood trails on the floor, and you hear screaming and doors shutting and shots going off. You just follow the gunshots. You bash open every door. There's no time to waste. And I cleared the mission a couple of times with like a C or like a B. And I unlocked the mission after that, but I didn't play it. I was like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this guy. Like, this is why I play this game. This is making me feel feelings. I'm ready to do this. And there was one of the times that I cleared the mission, I killed one shooter, and then the other shooter, there's actual bombs in there, like in the chemistry lab or whatever. There's bombs that you have to like go defuse. I thought it'd be a nice opportunity for a mini game. By the way, there's no mini game. You just like hold F, and your guy pulls out like a Leatherman and clicks it in the air, and then it's diffused. But I went to the second guy and tracked him down, and he surrendered. And he's on his knees. He's got his hands up, and he's like, "Oh, just like everything else in my life, I wasn't good enough." I was like, I want to kill this kid. That voice line. That really is very good. Like, it's interesting that they paid some guy to say that line. Right. That, you know, we've all seen this. It sucks, but we know this story. You know, the pissant little kid that doesn't get enough attention or love or accountability in his life, and he's mad at the world, and he thinks the world's mad at him, and he comes out with this plan, and it's a plan, but he's going to try it anyway because he wants to go out in a blaze of glory. And I killed his buddy, and I'm arresting him, and he's mouthing off. He's like, "Oh, poor me, this kid," you know. Right. And so I don't know, man. It was really powerful as video game levels go. You know, I was like, man. So I was really glad to have done that. I played it at like 1 a.m. after finishing the podcast edit session. I was like, all right, let me try this mission one more time.
They should do a scenario where there's a shooter taking a shot at a speaker at a public event, an outdoor public event, but you're not allowed to take the shot until they have like 8 chances to kill him.
At the risk, Spotify would probably love us saying that. Yeah, I think that would be very good. They should do that. They should make Secret Service DLC.
Yeah, you just sleep at the wheel for like half the thing, and then
yeah, and then on every dossier for every mission, your boss is like, "I don't know. I used to work for Pepsi, so I don't know." Yeah. Oh my gosh! So yeah, Ready or Not's pretty cool. Hey, you know what else is cool? Speaking of national pride, I don't know. I don't have a segue for this. The Olympics. Hey, The Olympics are on, everybody. Hey. So the wife and I are big Olympics heads. Actually, really enjoy finding a way to stream that each time it comes up. It started back in 2016 when it was in Rio, I want to say.
Sounds about right.
I had just a great time when we lived there in Tucson watching the Olympics, and, you know, we were sort of first married. We'd only been married for like a year, and it was like, hey, this is a fun, aren't we so cool, like, thing to do. Let's watch the Olympics. And I got like the app, which I think was some sort of NBC app at the time. Now it's Peacock, of course.
Yeah.
And so we've been watching, you know, the hits, you know, a little swimming, a little gymnastics, sure. Team USA, go, go, go. But now I think is where the fun begins, because you can watch, like, you know.
Anakin style.
Yeah. That's right. You can watch underwater, you know, arm wrestling or whatever. Like, there's all the weird events that you're like, all right, gymnastics is over. We get it. Simone Biles is a god. Yeah. Like, what else you got? And you can watch badminton, or you can watch judo, and you can watch table tennis, and you can watch, you know, all this stuff. And just last night, having gotten back from my trip, we watched some of the replays that are available on the Peacock app. Nice. And that included the men's skeet shooting, where they take these over-under shotguns, and you get pop, 2 shots, you know, clay, so pow, sick. Pow. And you just have to be perfect. Right. You just have to be perfect.
Right.
And I think it was third place was a Taiwanese guy who really was very, very good. He was just stone cold, like, you know, unshakable, really, really good. And then in gold and silver is our boys from the good old US of A.
All right.
One of them's like the Olympic, you know, record holder. He's 35. He took first place, took gold. He's just really very good.
Yeah.
But in second place, right behind him, was like the young gun who's like 23 from the USA, and he was only like 1 shot behind this guy.
Wow.
And they have these guns, Jared. I mean, they're just beautiful.
Right.
Right. They have like tricked out, like, molded to your hand grips, you know, and like the stocks aren't just wooden stocks with a pad on the end. They're like hydraulic, freaking like tactical looking stocks. But then the rest of the gun is sort of, you know, beautiful over under wood finish. Break barrel, every one of them, you know. Right. And there's one of the Italian guys was really good too, which checks out, you know, with Beretta and Benelli.
Right.
Just really fun.
Did you see the Turkish guy that won silver in
yes.
the shooting?
Can we talk?
He's just dressed like you.
Yeah. I know the internet is ablaze with this guy, but his story, I hope it's true. But what I read is that he's a somewhat recently divorced guy. He was in the military, retired a little while ago, and when he got divorced, he was like, "All right, well, I want to either see my kids or pursue my hobbies because frick my ex-wife now."
Right.
And so when he's not with his kids, he's shooting because that's what he decided to pour all of his time into. And he just shows up, crushes it, and then asks where the smoking area is. Like that's his
so
whole
funny,
steez.
dude.
It's just like, let me show up and crush it. And so he, at the Olympics, everyone else was like amazed by this guy because he doesn't show up with the goggles or the little flappy guys or the eyepieces or the anything. Right. He comes up with one hand in his pocket, and shoots an amazing round. It gets this freaking silver medal. And in this press release I read, he said, this is what it's about. I just want to do a really good job and spend time with my kids. That's all I care about now. Also, to my ex-wife, Sharon, I want my dog back.
Really?
Yes. That's what I read.
This guy is the coolest guy.
Absolutely rocks. This guy, and he clearly has the skills. I guess he won some in the military. They have competitions like this just for military guys, and I guess he won some shooting games in while he was in the military in Turkey. But that guy rocks, and I am not sick of his memes sort of floating around yet. That guy.
Respect to that guy. What's his name?
Already forgot.
Dog Jujesh.
Turkish.
Vargninas.
Osama bin Yusuf Dikex.
Osama bin blasted.
Osama bin blasted. His name is Yusuf Dikex. Dikec with the squiggle under it.
Dikich?
I think that sounds
Dikesh?
right. You go it's like a shish sound.
I think there's a ch. Yeah, the CH.
I'm an
kind
uncultured.
I don't know.
Right
I'm
now.
just getting that from like what I've seen in basketball. We got Doncic. I think Doncic has like one of those freaky little things.
Yeah, it's Osama bin blasted. Shh.
Yeah.
With a sh at the end, right?
That's right. That's correct. Right. That's correct. That's his name.
That's right. Yeah, that guy's swimming in it, and he rocks. And I really enjoy it's stories like that, you guys, that I watch the Olympics for.
Yeah,
I don't care about the U.S. team playing basketball. I don't care about honestly Simone Biles and all the gymnastics stuff.
I've never cared less about Simone Biles than I ever have in my entire life.
I'm impressed. I'm just as impressed with her now as I was when I first heard about it, which is to say, pretty impressed. Okay, cool.
I could certainly never do that.
Right. And it's funny. I think one of the reasons that the romanticization of her capability sort of faded away was when they talked about it this year. They said she's doing a vault that no one in the world can do besides her. She's the only person that can do it. So she can land it sloppy and just win gold. Just gold, you win. Because no one else can do that, and its difficulty rating, as agreed upon by the Olympics sort of like committees, that's the hardest thing you could possibly attempt on the vault, according to current sort of human.
Is it because of her height or what? Is she just naturally?
She's a freakazoid.
Yeah, she's
a freak of human nature. Like she is able to do things. She has trained in such a way. She has grown into this like little. She's like 5'5" or 5'4" or something. She's just a powerhouse, and because of her ability to pull this off, she just wins everywhere she goes. She has to be sick or injured in some way to not win.
I heard she's able to do that because nobody's able to do it. Her secret is she farts when she's in the air, and it gives her an extra boost, and that's how she lands.
I think I read something about that too.
My favorite meme I saw recently was like Simone Biles at the top of her jump is exactly 183 copies of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
I saw that too.
That's good.
Who decided to do that? I have no idea. That's so funny. I saw one that was like, it was like a GIF of her doing that, and the text was, "How are we the same species?" I'm so not. I couldn't be further removed from Simone Biles if I tried. Like that's not even. No, that's not. Yeah.
That's very true.
So yeah, I live for the little things, the little story. Or like when Snoop Dogg goes up to some Olympian's family and is like, "Yo, what's poppin'? What are you doing? What's up? Tell me about this kid. What's he like at home? Is he good? He better be nice to his mama. Is he nice to his mama? You know, like he just sort of shoots the shit with these people.
Does that bother you? That Snoop Dogg has like got such a presence over there.
I don't love it. I don't love it.
I don't live for it.
Yeah.
But if he was doing a bad job, I would have stronger feelings.
Yeah.
He's not doing a bad job. He's just being Snoop. He's just wandering around the world. This is his life, right? For the past several years. He just kind of wanders around being Snoop everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't need, you know what it reminds me of is like, you remember Auto-Tune the News? You remember when that was like on every Good Morning America show ever? It was like, can you believe the viral sensation that is known as auto-tuning the news?
Right.
And then they listen to it and they're like, that's pretty good. That's pretty catchy.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
You know, having the Snoop Dogg reacts to ping pong players at the Olympics. You know,
Right.
He's like, oh, for shizzle, he's doing that thing. You know, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't need that clip in my life.
Right.
But there's times where they go, you know, they finish talking about a swimmer being tragically disqualified because she was doing the backstroke, and when she was doing the backstroke, she didn't touch her hand at the right time, so this silver medal has been taken away from her because she's been disqualified. Anyways, let's go to our correspondent on the ground, Snoop Dogg, to talk to us about the ladies' badminton competition. Snoop, what do you got for us?
Right.
It's like,
It's very
so silly.
outlandish. Yeah.
I think it's outlandish. It's fun.
That's cool. I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm not even trying to take away from people who are enjoying it. I think I saw that he was like carrying the torch at one point, and I was like, why this guy? What is?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna be a hater here. I don't like a single song that Snoop Dogg has ever made.
Sure,
I don't like any of his music.
It's not for me either.
His vibe is like funny, I guess, but I'm like.
Right.
People already make fun of our country enough because of all the crazy things that go on in like our presidential race and everything.
Yeah.
We couldn't dig up like a great athlete to do the torch thing. We had to get Snoop Dogg. Like, why is he representing? I was like put off by that. I was like, there's so many.
I have an unpopular opinion, but I don't know.
Say it, dude.
I think our country has an unhealthy view of it's cool to be high.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think there are too many people that think it's okay to smoke pot. Sorry.
Yeah. They've made a bunch of jokes about him being high in some fashion or another.
Yeah, it's really funny that someone that's representing the entire world and, you know, a flagship for what we should all strive for is a person who is so high he doesn't even know where the he is. That's very, very cool. That's our motto.
The background of this, of course, Sha'Carri Richardson, a famous U.S. sprinter, literally didn't get to participate one time because there was THC in her system. She literally has a weed problem that has kept her from performing, and she sure didn't get gold. She got silver. So,
I'm glad you said that, Greg, because I'm always the person in the room who's too uptight about that, and I realize that, and I despise weed culture for a lot of different reasons. I mean, it's stupid in general, and it's
every gamer tag you've ever seen that's 420,
right,
whatever,
right?
It's so awful.
But that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like, what is Snoop Dogg famous for? His music to me is garbage. All that's left is that he's like the highest guy in the room all the time, and I'm like, how is he representing? This is an important thing. This is a good thing. Is absolutely nothing sacred anymore. Everything has to be a joke. Everything has to be like, we got zany Snoop Dogg in the house, like carrying the torch.
This is like old school, like the movie Old School, where they bring out Snoop Dogg and they're like, "We got Snoop Dogg, Circuit City, blasting speakers." This is literally what this is.
Yeah, it's such a joke. If I was an athlete of any amount of historical significance, I would feel slighted. I'd be like, "Well, okay, why?"
I know. That is true, actually. Maybe I should take back some of my lukewarm appreciation of Snoop Dogg, because I can imagine if Snoop the Dogg, Snoop Lion,
as
this
he's
guy,
called.
as he's been called. If he rolls up to my event that I've worked my whole life to be good at, and he goes, "What's up, man? What you doing?" And I'll be like, working really hard and stressing the out. Like, get away from me.
Right,
I'm busy.
right.
Like,
Well,
if I was at the Olympics, I wouldn't have time to talk to anybody.
Right.
Did you guys see they got Colin Jost to be an Olympics correspondent? But they sent his to like Fiji or wherever, Tahiti or wherever the surfing competition is happening on like the other side of the world. And that's actually pretty funny because they showed him surfing with professional surfers who are Olympians. And he's in this very like, married to Scarlett Johansson sort of charmed life. Like, all I have to do is read jokes on SNL a couple times a year and I get paid. Also,
Right.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. Like, that's just, everybody knows Colin Jost has it way too good.
Right.
And so they go, "Oh, it's a real bummer assignment there, huh? How's Tahiti, Colin? Back to you, And he's like, "Hey guys, it's cool. It's pretty cool. I've been on a boat.
Also, Scarlett Johansson.
By the way,
He's like, it's funny when you're on land at the beach, you can't really see anything that's going on. So you don't even feel like you're at the Olympics. You feel like you're just at your hotel room. So that's interesting. But then when you're on a boat, you're over there and you can totally tell it's going on. And that's really interesting." He's playing it so dry and like, I'm in Tahiti and you're not, I think it's really funny. That to me lands because they took somebody that we know already has a charmed life, who is not an athlete per se, who just like got thrown out there by NBC.
How did Colin Jost end up with Scarlett Johansson, by the way?
That's some entertainment tonight.
one of
like
the world's greatest questions.
I don't know. It is, and they never let him forget it on SNL. All those weekend update bits about him and ScarJo was like so funny. But, I just want to back off of our hatred of Snoop Dogg for a moment to mention that Jason Derulo's "Wiggle Feet Snoop Dogg" is certified banger, and I love that song.
Okay.
I unironically will play that in the car when we get out of the car, and I'll like do a little dance for my wife, and she is
She
mortified
wiggles
every
and you
time I do
wiggle,
it.
and then there we go.
That's so cute, dude.
I love that song. Do 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 do. Wiggle wiggle wiggle. I don't know why I like that song so much, but I really do. I bet it's because I listened to it like one time in the club in college. Moving on. Back to our correspondent on the ground, Dag Gravis. What's this you just jotted down into the notes about the Sega Dreamcast, bud?
So I've been thinking about this for a few weeks. Did you have a Dreamcast as kids?
I did not.
Couldn't afford it.
I had a friend that had one. And
I'm familiar. I'm very familiar with the platform, though.
Have you guys played Dreamcast games?
Yeah.
Okay, so... Man, some of my favorite memories growing up were Sega Dreamcast games, like Sonic Adventure. You guys ever play Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2 Battle?
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle played it on the GameCube like it was my job.
Oh, so good. And then Power Stone. Played a lot of Power Stone.
Oh, yeah?
So what Dreamcast games have you guys played, and did you enjoy them?
I just have two. So, Jared, if these are your two, or if you're familiar with these two, I apologize. But mine are definitely Crazy Taxi and Soul Calibur, or Soul Calibur 2, whichever one that was. I remember my buddy Travis, shout out to Travis Ewell, who I'm positive doesn't listen to this podcast. He had a Dreamcast, and I would go to his house. I'm like, "Mom, I'm going to Travis's house." She's like, "Okay, be back by dinner." I'm like, "Bye." I would go over to his house as fast as I could so I could play as much Crazy Taxi as humanly possible because that game was so much fun. It was that sort of, take turns, oh, my turn. Oh. And then Soul Calibur, he had two controllers and we would play Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur 2, right?
2, yeah, to be clear. Sorry, it was definitely Soul Calibur 2 for the Dreamcast. I remember playing
Which is a great game. Great game.
Oh, it was incredible. I remember playing through the story mode thing a little bit and just the kind of arcade cabinet, like classic mode where it was like 8 stages to the end or whatever. I remember getting good with Raphael, the fencer guy. That was my favorite. And then we would laugh. I remember laughing our butts off at the character Valdo, the like weird gimp with his suit that had all the weird like flowy movements and stuff. I remember being really struck by the graphics at the time because I had a Nintendo 64. And there's plenty of games on the Dreamcast that look like pretty good for the time. You know,
Dreamcast was years ahead. In terms of technology. What about you,
Part of
Jared?
the problem with its lack of adoption, I imagine.
Well,
too.
it's funny because I remember the Dreamcast, and it's a sad, unfortunate story because Sega released it, if I remember correctly, like just like a year before the PS2 came out, and then the PS2 just like steamrolled it.
Exactly a year before the
right.
the PS2 and the GameCube, or no, PS2, Xbox, and GameCube came out within a year of each other.
Right.
And Dreamcast was like a year before those consoles.
Right. And it was like, technologically, I think it was just slightly, in terms of power, it was slightly inferior. And it got blown out of the water, and then like obviously it lost a lot of funding, and so that's why there's not even that large of a Dreamcast library.
Right.
But
who wants to develop for the Dreamcast when you could pivot to developing for the PS2 and sell 1,000 bazillion more copies?
Right. And which is sad. I think that in terms of console, I think the game that I've played the most, granted I did not play it on Dreamcast, was Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I played it on the Xbox because it was later ported to PS2 and Xbox, but the original version for Dreamcast stands as the best version of the game to play.
Yes.
The PS2 port is awful, and the Xbox one I think might be marginally better, but I played a ton of that on Xbox. I love that game, and
is that like in the fighting community? Everybody holds it up as the definitive way to play is on Dreamcast.
Yeah, I think in terms of console it is, and because the arcade version is like, obviously it doesn't have menus. It's I think the way to play the game together against other people is like probably best played on Dreamcast. But
interesting.
My brother and I had my mom and dad bought us a Dreamcast, right? And we had Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but we also had Marvel vs. Capcom, the original.
Yeah.
The first one. Which is way less fleshed out, but it was still fantastic. So good.
Great games. The Versus series, I mean, I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Capcom's releasing a Versus series collection soon, and they'll have all those on there, and I encourage you guys to, it hopefully shouldn't be too expensive. You can pick it up and check it out, and maybe we can even kick each other's butts on there over the internet. I think it'd be a fun time. But
there you go.
They're beautiful games. I love that game. I love and I've talked about this before to Jake a long time ago. It's funny. I remember wrapping up. We had just got done playing at church together in Tucson, Arizona, and I went up to Jake and I was like, because I knew Jake was the only person who would know what the heck I was talking about. I was like, dude, this original soundtrack from this game, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it's this jazzy soundtrack, and it's incredible. Like, I try and play it on the drums, and it kicks my butt because it's it was way over my head then. It's still over my head now, some of the things that they're doing on there. But I just love that game. It's got a very, very special place in my heart. Outside of that, I'm going to say I played a lot of Jet Set Radio, which was a sequel to Jet Grind Radio. Also,
isn't that coming back? I think it's coming back.
It might be. It's talk about games that they just exude cool. Those games were cool. They were totally unique. They really felt like somebody had a vision for something that was really unique, and I enjoyed. And again, the music. The music was very. It wasn't always good, but it was catchy and weird and cool, and original, and yeah, man, those are a couple of really special games. I played them both on the Xbox because I don't know if you guys know this, Microsoft, shortly after they released Xbox, or at least maybe I don't know at one point, but they bought Sega because Sega was hurting bad,
right?
And so Sega brought a lot of titles. They brought what was it, Sega GT? It was it came on Sega GT and Jet Set Radio Future. Came on like a double bonus thing that came with that shipped with the Xboxes, and I played both of those. And again, Sega GT, great music. Sega really knew what they were doing with their music. But yeah, gosh, I gotta go back and play those games.
Did you guys know that you can go to? I'm gonna put it in the chat. jetsetradio.live. I just Googled Jet Set Radio to like look at the Wikipedia page. Jetsetradio.live is just like free music with the stylings of Jet Set Radio.
Nice. I'm going.
It's
there
like
now.
a whole web page that they developed.
Oh whoa.
And it has like lore from the Jet Set Radio universe, like in a little stock ticker at the bottom.
Dang, it's loud, but that's cool.
Yeah, it's also very loud. And then there's like a pop-up, and you can close it.
Dude.
And there's multiple stations that you can tune into.
That's very rad.
You can listen to the Jet Set Radio Future soundtrack.
What? Dude.
This is like really cool.
And you know what it just reminded me of? I don't want to like shift too big away from this. If you guys have more to say, let's say it. But if you don't, you guys good?
Yeah.
That turning that on and how loud it was, it reminded me of being a kid. Do you guys remember when you were a kid and you'd go into like whatever Chuck E. Cheese? It was Peter Piper Pizza for me, but going into like an arcade, and it was just like, first of all, the smell of pizza, like that whole thing, but then like the bassy boom in your face sound of like a hydro thunder.
Choose your boat. Damn the torpedoes. Choose your track.
Yes, dude.
Lost Island.
Dude, yes, and then, yeah. Oh my god,
Bags all over it.
Did you guys ever play that game Jambo Safari?
No.
It was like a Sega game where you were like on a safari thing and you had to like drive the Jeep and then you had to like throw and like wrangle the animals. Dude, look up this game real quick. It's called I'll put it in the chat if I can.
Jambo Safari. I am very interested. Let me see if I can find a picture of it really fast
It's really it's just I really miss that, man. Just like I just
cabinet looks sick.
Feeling so overcome by like the potential, the games around me. It's like I remember they had a Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet. I remember seeing Juggernaut on there for the first time. And if you've ever seen it, Juggernaut on the MVS games or the Versus series games, is like huge. He like takes up the entire half of the screen that he's on. And I was like blown away by that. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Favorite arcade cabinets, ready, set, go. Here's one of mine. Ghost Squad. The first time I saw Ghost Squad was at what was that arcade that used to be at the Foothills Mall? Game Dungeon?
GameWorks?
GameWorks. Me and Clay played Ghost Squad. And the little peripherals you get, it looks like a UMP or a G36 or something. Mm-hmm. And it has a little recoil mechanism in there in like the buffer tube kind of area where every time you pull the trigger, it pops your shoulder with like a little recoil bump. And on the foregrip, there's a little trigger button for like a underbarrel mounted grenade launcher. There's a select fire switch to go from single to auto and burst, and it's like in the right place that it should be in.
Yeah.
And then to reload, you like tap the bottom of where the magazine is, and it actually does the reload that way. That was like the coolest shooting cabinet I have ever seen in my life. I also love the just like police trainer, just like any good shooting cabinet I'm probably going to enjoy. Freaking Time Crisis, whatever. And
Does
then
website just have cabinets you can buy?
I think so, dude.
What the heck? Why?
You got to have some cash, but like they're cool.
Dude. We should just sell everything and just get a little house where our wives can live, and then we just build like a arcade with cabinets.
You know, you've got people in the Fort Worth area, Jared. I think our next adventure we all need to live in the Fort Worth area and have a commune full of arcade cabinets and LAN parties and nonsense.
Great idea, dude.
Yeah. The real win, I think this goes without saying. I bet we've all played this. The Star Wars Episode 1 Racer arcade cabinet. Baby.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wowie zowie.
Wowie zowie.
That's a riff. That's a riff reference. You remember Riff?
Oh, do I ever? Remember we
Any
talked
Barney enjoyers out there, folks? Show of hands. Who out here likes Barney?
There's a Japanese arcade cabinet called Tank Tank Tank.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you guys are hip to Tank Tank Tank.
Yo, it says that this Star Wars racer cabinet weighs 525 pounds.
I bet it's stupid heavy.
Boy.
Oh my god.
That's so
There's
funny.
an arcade in Greensboro called, what's it called? Not Main Event. It's the other one.
Round one.
It's Talk about the
Round one? I think it's called Round One.
Yeah, we have a round one here in Tucson too.
There's Boxcar, which is also a favorite. But Round One has this Tank 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 Japanese game. It's all in Japanese. They didn't translate anything. It's just a cabinet from Japan. And that seat that you sit in, you guys, it's on like a hydraulic sled, and you drive a tank around. And it has graphics that are about as good as Power Stone. It's like pretty old school, fun, blocky stuff. But you get like a fully realized kind of 3D environment. Up to 4 people can play, depending on the setup. And you just move around with the brake and the gas. And when you pull the triggers on your little steering wheel, it shoots the whole seat back like a foot.
Whoa.
And you go like, ga-gung, ga-gung.
So awesome.
And you get like power-ups and stuff. You get a Gatling gun, you get a nuke, you get rocket launcher, you get whatever. And it's the most mobile sort of cabinet seat I've like ever seen. There's so many.
Dude, a game called San Francisco Rush. I hear it's a rush down there. San Francisco Rush. Come on down, step on a needle, contract HIV. V.
They can make it be like DDR, but you're dodging needles. Like
Right,
where you
right.
step.
Immigrant Rush, and then just a bunch of illegals just run at you. You have to kill them all.
Well,
That's
what's
San
that? What's that border town in Texas? Eagle Pass or something?
Dude, House of the Dead.
El Paso.
El Paso, yeah. House of the Dead, but it's just the average street in
House of the
San
Deg.
Francisco.
House of the Dead, dude.
House of the Dead, yeah, dude.
I'd play that
That's
game.
excellent. Oh my god.
Greg, are you thinking about picking up that Versus collection that's going to come out, or are you past that point in your life? You're not into playing those anymore?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
Seems cool. I mean, dude, I loved like some of my fondest memories are. That's why I brought it up. The Dreamcast, right?
Yeah.
Playing Marvel vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and when one of us would play as a Sentinel, right?
Yeah.
And the Sentinel just annihilates everybody, right? Yeah. I love playing as Wolverine in that game. And Capcom 2, you know? Wolverine, he's great.
Yeah, there's 2 Wolverines. There's Bone Claw Wolverine and
regular,
Adamantium
yeah.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
And,
And Cyclops is great in that game.
yeah. Gosh, that game.
Who do you play as in MVC2?
I always liked Wolverine. I mean Wolverine's pretty broken in those games. He's pretty darn solid. I play as my team. I think is like rotating between like 5 guys. I'd say like Venom, Cyclops, Psylocke, Wolverine, and then like maybe like Hayato, the guy with like that sword.
Yeah. Who's absolute dog water in those games? Who's terrible?
Roll is like meme tier. Roll and Servbot are like garbage tier characters. They're like if you pick them, you're trying to like clown the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some other ones, but I know that Roll and Servbot are like hilariously bad.
Is there anyone who's broken?
Storm is broken. Magneto's pretty broken. Sentinel's pretty broken. Like they have that's the thing about those games is funny. It's like those characters have like infinites, where like if you're skilled enough, like you hit them once and you can just keep doing what you're doing and kill them without them.
How do they not change that? It seems, especially in a re-release, it seems like they would. Or is the goal to represent it as faithfully as it was when it came out?
So I think some of the infinites in some of the games like have been removed, but they're really, really, really difficult to pull off. Like it's only that's like only for the guys who've been playing the game seriously since it came out like 25 years ago or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, those games are fun, man. And it's the type of thing. It's like you don't even have to take it that seriously. Obviously, there's guys who will pound you into dust because they just never stop playing. But like just getting on there and clowning around and just enjoying that game visually is a fun experience. And like I said, the music. Look up the music. That soundtrack is so good.
I might have to play it just for the vibes. So yeah, for that. Like I would rather experience the music as part of the game.
Yeah.
I will listen to the soundtracks of certain things, obviously, but
Yeah.
That sounds like something I might have to check out.
It's
Is
very
there
out of place,
a dollar figure for that game?
I'm thinking they'll probably release for like $40. I would hope, unless there's like a ton of features that they're adding. But I think it's just like frame data and training, like robust training modes, and then generally the games will be. I did see from a popular YouTuber that it's closer to the Dreamcast version than anything has come before. So
looks like it's going to be on Switch. That might be a fun one to get on the Switch. I don't really use the Switch enough.
Dude, your boys would like playing it though.
I was just going to say I should have said this on the podcast. I did boot up the Switch yesterday when I came back from my trip. I asked the boys what they wanted to do with Daddy now that I'm home. Yeah. And Benson showed me some Lego creations he had been making because he got a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toy.
Very cool.
My wife took them to the antique mall with her, and they found like a vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playset that he thought was just the coolest thing in the world. And Max wanted to play Super Smash with his dad, and I was like, get your body ready.
All right, son, here we go.
And he wanted to play as a team, and I was like, all right, fine.
And, we don't do that in this household, son.
And so we played against like level 2 CPUs, and then we played against level 3 CPUs, and we were holding our own. He did good, but it was fun, and I was like, I should play the Switch more, ? Like I just the fact that it's sitting collecting dust, or my kid's got his grimy hands on it, you know what I mean? It's either going to be my son's playing it or it's not being played.
Yeah.
Of course, I told him when the new Switch comes out, which I suppose will be next year sometime. I don't know when they're going to say anything about it. There'll be, we'll probably upgrade, and then we'll take the old one and we'll just give it to Max kind of full time.
Nice.
But anyway,
dude, yeah. If you do get that game, that makes me very happy because reminds me of being a young boy and turning that game on, and it's like all of these like just crazy characters that some of them you will have never heard of. Right. There's characters on there that like are very obscure. I mean, like Omega Red. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with that. I
don't know This is the first time I've heard of anyone named Omega
he's like
Red.
He's an old Wolverine foe, X-Men villain, but like he's in there and he's crazy and he's whipping his noodles.
Whipping his diners out.
Yeah, he is, dude. He is. But it's fun, man. Gosh,
that's rad, dude. Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna call it, boys?
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure is.
Well, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 35 of Grass Touchers is a wrap-a-roni. Thank you for following on Instagram and YouTube. Do more of that, please. And we'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If you follow, if you like, if you do some things, I'll make some more content. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if it will or not. We love interacting with you folks. Leave some comments on Spotify. They got rid of the question feature in Spotify, so just kind of leave a comment. We'll see what you think of everything. And as always, do not forget, it's beautiful out there. I mean, by beautiful, it's too hot, and you should probably stay inside. But give it a shot. Why don't you get out and touch some grass?
Grass.
Grass toucher.